Hi, this is Midland, Texas, Tunnels and Crime Part 2. I got a pretty good feedback off Part 1. It's a huge story and it covers several years. I'm sure everybody has a lot of questions and it's just going to take some time. And so I'm gonna try to in this video lead you to where a lot of the evidence is posted that I consider irrefutable, undeniable, photographic evidence, and it paints a really clear picture. On video 1, I'm doing a lot of talking, and talking doesn't mean that much. You really want to see some facts and some hard evidence, especially in an incredible story, which this is. It takes incredible evidence, and I believe I have that. And so what I'm going to do here is get on the computer and try to lead you and show you where it is, so as I make these videos, then you can follow along. So I'm gonna stay here on the computer mainly. On this one might be a little blurry, but I think you'll get the idea. This is a little timeline I drew up, and it just gives me something to go by. I'm just going to go real quick as far as try to keep it in line as far as time. Some of the things I already talked about. You can see where Rene Escobar Sanchez here missing at 7/12/08. Okay, then I first looked at this home at 10/1/08, so a little less than 3 months. I looked at the home. I took pictures that day. You remember the back door didn't have a hole in it. Okay, and then all of a sudden the homeowner that lived here, he dies. Okay, and I talked about that on 10/12, and then it happened to be that the Permian Basin Oil Show started up the week after he died, and that might or might not be any kind of factor with his death, but I just have it down there. It happened to happen while he was not alive. Let's see, 10/31/08, first night I slept in the house. I mentioned that already. 11/06 was my birthday, and it was also it was the vote day. That was the day Obama became president. I moved that day. You have pack day, load day, and move day, and on move day was my last night in my Hobbs home. Really hard to move if anybody's ever done that after 16 years of being in a home. And I didn't get over here till 1 o'clock at night. But after there, I never went back. First call with the police. Okay, this is a couple years later. You'll notice 11/9/10. I'd already mentioned that first police call. The rug. I set up a trap. I caught them. I verified somebody had been in my house. Found a patio door open. Here we go. It was only a couple months later on the second call of the police. That was 1/8/11. I actually heard somebody in the attic. I was sure they were in the attic. I was scared this night. There's probably a 911 call on this. I actually even recorded it with the audio recorder when they come over. I wanted them to go up. I wanted the police to go up. There's 4 of them to go up in the attic, and they looked, and they wouldn't do it. So then I said, "Hey, y'all stay down here, and I'll go look." And they wouldn't do that either. And so that's what happened on that day. Then I hired a private investigator company, and I've been taking names out, but y'all didn't see that. Anyway, the only thing this guy did here is he come over on a Sunday afternoon. My brother come over, my nephew come over, and they had guns, and had some other friends with guns, and and I knew somebody was in this house, and I paid this private investigator $350 to crawl from one side of my attic to the other side of the attic, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, oh, you don't have anybody breaking in your house, and I'm going, no, you don't live in this house. I already showed you, how I knew for a fact, proven over and over and over again that they're repeatedly breaking my house. But this day was the day that the first call to my private investigator, and that's what we did. Third police call. This was a person that called the police behind my back. I feel like this was probably a slander call right here, but I seen it on the police reports when I got them all. Listed my home for sale 8/5/11 to 11/5/11. I talked about this online before. And basically I did this because I was threatened. I was told, if I don't give a if I don't pay so much per month, basically in so many words, then a person was going to call me crazy, right? Because I had break-ins in my house. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell the house. So I put the house up on the market. As you can see here, it was on the market for 3 months, and it was priced at market price. I had no bidders. It come down. It wasn't listed for sale at 11,511, and that, if you look at it, is only a couple months before I'm shot. This is one thing I always go back to when people say, you need to move or you need to sell your house. It's like, I did put my house up for sale. It was once after I was shot and crippled and had my life run is when I'm like, no, the crimes have to do with the house. If I moved from the house, then I would never, it'd always be a mystery. But it can be solved as long as I live in this house. Anyway, I'm going to mention that 8511 listed my home for sale. I turn around during the same time period, 9/29. I get married, little honeymoon. That's all I got there. My mom dies 12/7/11, December 7th. This is anybody's lost a parent. Just incredible, horrible. It's horrible. And there's still unanswered questions on what happened there. I posted about that on my Facebook. You can read on that. That's all I'll say. Fourth call to police. I didn't make this call. I've got this story on Facebook. Police come in my house. Then they handcuffed me and took me and put me in a car down the street. When I get in the car, there's a bag of green leafy substance laying in the back of the seat. I know where this is going, right? It's real obvious. I made sure not to touch it, so my fingerprints wouldn't be on it. And then I'm told before these police leave that we better not be called over here again for this. That's the reason that I didn't call the police about whatever it is. 5 weeks before I was shot. That's the reason. With the night that a burglar alarm's going off and I was shot, that's why I didn't call the police, because I was told I better not call them again. And as far as I'm concerned, it was it was a hint. Nothing was ever said. They didn't say anything, and so there was no direct hint or direct saying that we're going to frame you. But that happened. I got the proof. I seen it, but I don't have any proof on that. It's my word. Anyways, separated. Okay, so you can see how long that was. Lasted 2 months from the time we were married till the time we separated and moved out into the year 1230, right before New Year's Day, and I remember, I think I come home and I cut the last tree limb down. And now that last tree limb that went over my house made sure that nobody was climbing on top of my roof and getting in. I knew people were coming to the house, as I said in the other video. And after that, then it was pretty well sure that they were coming. The people that were breaking my house were coming from the floor, and just as had been insinuated. My son comes down after Christmas. You'll see 1/5/12, and of course I'm separated at this time. He comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to get to the bottom of this, Dad." And I'm like, "Oh, praise God! I finally got somebody here to help me." He's here that day. That night, his grandpa dies, and he leaves the next morning. He wasn't even here 12 hours, and he hasn't been back since 3 years ago or whatever. And so it's down there. On 1/15/12, I write an email named "Just in Case," right? And I send it to my family and friends. Just in case something happens to me, then I want everybody to know right now it won't be an accident. And so I have an email. I have a copy of that email right now that I sent 2 weeks before I'm shot. And guess what they said? "Oh, that's an accident." And I'm going, guys, 2 weeks before I'm shot, I sent an email that says, "Just in case something happens to me, it's not going to be an accident." And a lot of that was thinking what happened to the previous homeowner, and I wrote about that some on Facebook too, and on what I seen the similarities between what happened to him and what happened to me. Okay, 1/23/12 petition for divorce filed, and of course, it's time stamped, and that's why I have the minute down there. These papers were brought back to me, already filled out. Here, go down to the courthouse and file these, okay, and sign here, okay, and now I've done that. They were brought to me, and at that time, my life insurance booklets were brought back, which I didn't even know were gone, It was like, wow, okay, and so I got them back too, and it was 5 days later I was shot, okay. These are timestamps. 10:42 p.m. Got a picture right there at the bottom of the security picture. It shows me crawling on my hands and knees out and survived the murder attempt. Why was I crawling out of my home? Why didn't I just pick up the phone and call 911? Well, the reason is because earlier in the day my cell phone had disappeared, just mysteriously disappeared. Now remember, I got break-ins going on all this time, okay? But it had disappeared, and I had concerns because of what was going on, of course. And I had the cordless phone in my pocket, okay? When after I get shot, literally just shot without warning, other than burglar alarms going off, and I fall to the ground. I've got the phone, this cordless phone in my pocket. I try to use it, and the phone line's dead. I had no communication. I then crawled to the other side of my house, into my bedroom over here, and then I crawled out, and it's time stamped on the camera on the time I got caught, or the time I crawled out. So I was shot just about 5 minutes before that, or 2 or 3 minutes before that. There's blood stains still on my carpet. Okay, and then my next security camera picture shows these two police arrive at my home. Okay, and so you can see them, and I've got that posted on my Facebook, and I later, and you'll see this, I subpoenaed the police reports, or I filled out the form, said, and anybody can do it, y'all can do it, go get the, say I want the police report for this house at this night. Well, I found out there was no police dispatched to my house, and there was no police at my house, okay? But I know on my camera to the minute exactly when they showed up, which was 19 minutes after I called out. So we don't know how they know to come to my home. Did somebody call them? If so, who called them, right? Or was one of them the shooter? Who they are, and then who told them to disable the cameras, right? Because the next picture I got, which is on Facebook at 11:22, 1:28:12, is my outside security cameras being disabled, pointed towards the house. The police arrived within 20 minutes. I hadn't been shot less than an hour. Police that I don't even know, and I call on police. I don't have any paperwork to prove that they are, right? So I also sometimes call on people dressed like police, So if I say police and well, you can't prove they're police. Okay, well, that's right. You're right. There are people dressed like police, but which is also a crime. But either way, I've got people at my house to this day, 3.5 years later, that I don't know who they are, okay? I had called out and went to the 7-Eleven, okay? And I honked my horn and told the people next to me, hey, call 911. My subpoena of the police records never did pull that up. It's a mystery to me to this day how the police knew to come to the 7-Eleven. A female Hispanic detective climbs in the front seat of my truck at the 7-Eleven and says what happened, and I'm telling her I've been shot, and I've had all these people breaking my house, and I've already called the police multiple times, and I told my family, and I told my friends, and I told my coworkers, I called the FBI, and I called the Rangers, and nobody helped me, and then they shot me, And so anyways, I read a couple years later that this certain detective said that she wasn't even there at the 7-Eleven. And it was another female, which I didn't even know who it was, that said she got into my truck, And so I don't know why these two female police lied about 7-Eleven, but there's the store employees, there's the people that were next to me in that car. Surely somebody knows, I actually think they called 911 and the ambulance showed up. There's got to be witnesses besides me to verify that them police reports were falsified. Anyway, that's what was going on, not at my house, okay? Okay, and then on the same night at 1:28, 11:54, these are timestamped. My sister-in-law forwards to my daughter the email which I'd sent to the Hopsville Police Department that I'd sent her 12 hours earlier. And this was the email I sent the Hopsville Police Department just telling about what had happened with my mom's death, okay? And I just sat down and truthfully wrote an email to them and said, hey, this didn't add up. I'm told this and this happened. And so anyways, I've got a copy of it. That's why I know the timestamp and I know who sent it to who and what time. And then one of my daughters here, and I'm keeping names out of this on purpose, as I said, forwards email to this detective. Okay, this one that I kept the name out here, but to a Midland Police Department detective, which I had sent to the sister-in-law and HPD. Okay, so the daughter forwards this over there. That's timestamp. And then, and I have two daughters, I ain't saying which one's which, but anyway, daughter forwards just in case email to the detective. Okay, so and I got this all out of a subpoena. So I know my daughter did that. What I don't know is how my daughters knew this detective. And I've had very little communication with my family, but these are questions that are open that I think need to be resolved. And Okay, user-initiated log-off. Cops rebooted my computer. Okay, this is an attempt to disable the inside camera in my room. Okay, and I have the log file from that camera that says, oh, all of a sudden I started up. Okay, and what started it was rebooting the computer. And then I have the Windows System event log that says I was rebooted manually. That means that it wasn't a power failure. It wasn't an accident. It was a user-initiated. And I believe it was the police or the people dressed like police who were caught on camera a few minutes later is the ones who purposely rebooted that computer, and I believe it was to disable the computer such as the outside cameras had been disabled. It was a conscious attempt in my mind to cover their tracks so nobody would know that they were in my house, because you're going to find out when I got the police reports there's no record of them being in my house. Anyway, legal police, and once again when I say police we don't want to get confused with people dressed like police and the people that are the police, you know, because right now we just know they're dressed like police, but I believe they are police. Okay, Yawcam, which is the software I use, started via log file from reboot, gives me 3:16 a.m. So all of a sudden the camera that wasn't running in my room started up, and it started because that computer was rebooted, and I believe they didn't know that. They had accidentally started the camera that caught them. That's what I believe happened. I give God all the praise and glory for that. I mean, I think that's a miracle, or I would never know, and it'd be a whole different story if I didn't have the pictures that I'm going to show you. Okay, here at 355, these pictures, what it is motion detected still pictures. And it's part of this software, the Yawcam software. You turns a webcam into a security camera is what it does, and you have all these options. And I had it set up to take still pictures based on motion, okay? And one of the still pictures it takes, and then it writes the timestamp into the file name, okay, and of the file, and of course it's part of the internal file description, you know, of that file, which is, you know, metadata, if you want to call it metadata. But basically, what we see is a person dressed like a police, right, searching my drawers. Okay, at 3:55 a.m. Well, once again, I'm shot right from ground level, and I'm going to show you the evidence of that. But you know, why is this person dressed like a police searching my drawers? You know, they're not even here, right? More or less, do they have a search warrant? And why would they think a killer was in my drawers? See, you know, and they're obviously not looking for the killer, right? I got a feeling, and I say killer, but I didn't die, so it wasn't a killer, right? It was an attempted killer, is what it was. But anyway, I have that timestamp there. Pick a person holding a camera inside my bedroom, and then I have another picture where it looks like there was a flash. So I believe there's evidence somewhere out there that's going to verify what my data and what my cameras say, and is also going to show that the people dressed like police were actually in here. If I could get real police to go investigate it and find them pictures, all of a sudden that could be used as investigative. You're right, buddy. They were sneaking in your house, and they were searching your drawers, and they were stealing evidence. Going, thank you. Okay. Last pick of police in my bedroom after the murder attempt at 3:59 a.m. Timestamp picture right here. Okay. Next day, okay, and this was the next day, but remember, I got shot late at night, 1:28, and then it rolled over, so it was early in the morning, 3:59, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, but early in that morning, one of my daughters forwards just in case email to my other daughter. Okay, that email had already been sent the night before. She probably didn't know that, is what I think. Then on the report, there's something called a police test call. I have no idea what that is. And then here's a complete alert test. You know, I thought, well, maybe they're setting up some kind of monitoring, you know, where they're spying on the victim. You know, that's on my best guess. And then I see on the police report on 13112, first slander of paranoid schizophrenic by, and I didn't name him, this person. I've never been diagnosed with this horrific mental disease. I mean, that's like saying a person has AIDS to cover up a murder attempt. I don't have AIDS either. I don't have paranoid schizophrenia, and I don't have AIDS, and that's a lie, and that's slander, and that shouldn't have been on there. And I've seen it on 14 different reports. What happened is I'm the victim of a violent crime, and I can prove it, and I'm going to show you that. I mean, this is absolutely horrific, and part of ruining my life right here and victimizing the victim. The next day, this is all off the police reports. Daughter picked up my dog, it looks like. Or actually, that was a couple days afterwards. Daughter picks up my dog. Okay. And then detective and two detectives, I guess, come up to the hospital. I remember it on 2/1, and they had me sign papers so they could come into my house and they could start their investigation. And I'd been at the hospital all this time, already had 1 or 2 surgeries by that time, and I had hand-drawn maps to my house where I believe there might be possible entrances, hidden entrances, because that's what was happening here, was hidden entrances. And they took them, and they were going to go to my house and look, and they didn't mention that they'd already spent over 5 hours or more inside my house stealing evidence and staging the crime scene, if that's what happened, of course. And, this is when they officially, this was the official entry, okay? And I see on the police reports 2 years later, it was, he's crazy, we got to get a bomb squad to go in that house. Well, as I told the FBI guy, you don't need a bomb squad after you already spent 5 hours in a home. And that FBI agent says, you got that right. There we go, that's right. That was only done to slander me as far as I'm concerned. It was to pretend that was their only entry when they'd already been in my house. Here we go, 2/1/10:04. My same camera caught the people that look like police on the night of the murder attempt, catches these police, which are the official legal police, okay? And one of them pictures you'll see on my Facebook, they're going searching the same drawers they already searched. I mean, I've got it side by side. They searched it here, the secret police, and they searched it over here, the legal police. And either way, the killer is still not in them drawers, okay? Last pick of police in my bedroom after the murder attempt, okay, and so I didn't have any more. That was time stamped at 10:59 on 2/1, okay. I get out of the hospital 2/7. I return from the hospital. I have my calcaneus bone. It's cut out a big hole in the side, where you could literally look in there. That picture is on Facebook, which I believe makes it look like I was shot with a shotgun. The evidence seems to show that I wasn't shot with a shotgun, and you'll see that. Finally, 3/26/12, a couple of months later, final decree for divorce is filed with court, so it's done. Okay, that was a 3-month marriage. Done, finished, okay? And then I hired another private investigator. This is the second private investigator. The first one just crawled across the attic, right, on 3/30/12. He was a ex-homicide detective from Odessa. Really nice guy. I liked him. He spent about a week here. But then he was telling me ghost stories, and I don't believe in ghosts, vampires, or zombies. These, and I sure don't believe that they carry loaded guns and they shoot homeowners. And then he also asked me if I was interested in selling my house, and that was red flag number 2. And so I just told him it's expensive anyway, that I didn't need him anymore. He is the one that gave me some of my best clues, though, because the last thing he said to me is, I need all the police reports, I need all the medical reports. Well, that was like, okay, well, I went and got them myself. All the police reports, all the medical reports. And that's where all the information comes from, all the stuff that I post on Facebook, and it really tells the story, a lot of these things in here. And you can see where in April 16th is when I actually first got the police reports from the city attorney, and of course, I've been shot 128. So the pictures of police in my house originally, I didn't put it all together. I didn't realize that they were sneaking into my house, and then it all of a sudden started making more sense. So there was a process that I went through on that. So anyway, there's a timeline. Well, I'm gonna try to go there. Let's get on Facebook here, okay? I want to show you here, if we go to Facebook, okay? This is my Facebook. If you want to go there, buddy.web.353, you'll see it right here. It's the URL. You can go directly to it. And I have my timeline here, my wall. Really interesting, good read, lots of stuff there, and it's all in order reading. I also highly suggest you click on the photo button here, okay? And these are all the tag photos, of course, and they're all very interesting, and you can go through that. One trick or secret is that almost every photo has a story with it, okay? So here's the story over here on Samsung security config menu. Basically, what this is a back door into my security system, because I kept calling Samsung going, they're hacking my system. I mean, I know people are bypassing it. I've already proved it, but I don't know how. And finally, after the 15th time, and I'm crippled, the guy says, well, they could only do that if they were there present. And I'm going, that's what they are. They are. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they got physical access. Anyway, it's just saying I have a story on all these pictures. Go to albums. Okay, really important. And this is just Facebook anyway. I don't have 10,000 albums. I only got a few. I have the video album. Video album has a lot of good videos in it. Most of them are police scanner videos. Really interesting stuff. Okay. Here's one that I've probably got some of the most views at, about this wall behind my house, and it has to do with, was it tunneled under? This is a call from Vivint right here that I'm talking to them over my Vivint system. I literally have a Vivint alarm system installed in my attic to prove to everybody that people are breaking in my attic. Vivint had called the police to my home 2 times before I shut that system down. And because I was the city threatened to fine me if they got any calls for false alarms, but they refused to look when they were called. And so that's the Vivint system. It's showing alarms going off in my attic. I have motion security lights in my attic. And who puts motion security lights in the attic? The guy that keeps saying people are breaking his attic. This one's interesting here. The burglar alarm goes off in my attic, and I'm in the bathtub filming my foot. This right here is a call where somebody calls and leaves a message about a massage business at this house or something. And this is really interesting too. This is a call from Mike Conaway, and he called and asked if I want to join a town hall meeting. I said yes, and they asked if I wanted to ask a question. I said yes, and then I asked him a question and said, hey, 2 weeks after being shot from ground level, 2 weeks before I'm shot from 2 weeks before I'm shot from ground level in my house, I called the DEA and reported a suspected tunnel, and they never came to look. And then a group of people dressed like police come into my house and were caught searching my drawers, stealing evidence with bags, and there's no police report. And anyway, this is his response. Okay, all interesting. So all I want to do there was show you, that's one of on the albums, timeline photos. These are the ones I really haven't filed yet. Every photo has a story about it, okay? This one, and you see the timestamp, Midland police were behind my house just a couple of days ago. Okay, you can see the damage to my foot, where my insurance company told me that I was disabled, too disabled to work, and then 3 years later I'm not disabled anymore. Okay, anyways, that one didn't have a story, but it does someplace. This one's very important. I'm going to go over it. This one here, it's basically the lab report here that shows the pellet size that's removed from my foot, and you can see it here. It's in centimeter converted to millimeter right here, size 5 shot, and here is a shot shell of mine, the same size that was in my gun, and it's a size 7.5 bird shot, where 2.5 sizes different. Okay, so that's like saying the guy with the 22, okay, shot the guy that has a hole in him from a 45. That didn't happen. I did not at all whatsoever. I wasn't shot with my own gun. And this right here is ballistic proof, okay? And then there's a story that goes with that. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the bottom line right there. I can say I'm shot to the floor. I can tell you burglar alarm's going off. But here's the evidence. Big allegation, need big proof. Here it is. Here's the lab report. Here's the ammunition. And then we can add my, what I'm telling you. Everything else is going on. Okay, you can see here, paranoid schizophrenic Buddy Webb has tear gas. I'm like I mentioned earlier, I'm just glad they didn't make up AIDS or some other horrific disease. I can't believe they're just making up diseases to cover a murder attempt. This should upset you right there, because as far as I'm concerned, that is a cruel lie. That's a life-changing, a cruel. I mean, I'm the victim of a violent crime. Okay. Anyways, I just want to show you that was timeline photos, because I'm going to go back over some of these photos in a minute. Proof of censorship. My dad had told me, he says, the news has been told not to report anything you tell them. I'm like, how do you know that? Oh, I didn't say that. But anyways, sure enough, I've contacted local, state, national news, and they're not reporting anything I tell them. And it don't matter if I have irrefutable, undeniable photographic evidence, plus police reports, plus medical reports, nobody is reporting this story. And so you're going to look in here and you can just pick any one you want, you know, and you'll go, oh, this was Caitlin with CBS 7 News right here, you know. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I tried to get all the reporters in the area a chance to report this story. And I wasn't picking on Caitlin because if you look, I got many of them. Okay, this is proof of censorship in America. It would make Hitler proud. You know, it would more remind you of North Korea or maybe China. We really have no right in telling any other country that you don't have a free press when they're not telling this story and there's so much evidence. Mutilated foot pictures. Okay, interesting. This was taken 2 weeks after I'm shot. Okay, look at that big old hole. That's not an entrance hole, and that's not an exit hole. That's a hole in your foot, make it look like shotgun shot your hole. That's what that is, and I wasn't because the evidence already showed that, remember? Okay. You ever see the Achilles tendon? There it is. It's almost cut in half. That's what your Achilles tendon looks like right there. Right. So anyways, yeah, these, and then it even gets more interesting when I go, wait a minute, I broke my pinky toe just 3 months before I'm shot, and all of a sudden I have no more broken pinky toe because I'm saying, hey, somebody falsified my x-rays. And you go like, falsified x-ray? How could that happen? You know, I'm just telling you, somebody falsified my x-rays. And look here, on a radiological consultation right here, it says I was shot on the 17th. And then it shows I had another x-ray on the 19th. But I was shot on the 28th, 11 days after this date. What if this person is whose x-rays I'm showing and they don't have that broken pinky toe that's recent and severe? Okay? Amazing. So have somebody check into that. I mean, this has to do with Obamacare, has to do with medical fraud, it has to do with horrific, heinous, and sickening allegations of medical crimes. It reminds me of Joseph Mengele from the Nazi Doctor of Death. I mean, it's horrific. Somebody needs to figure out, is this guy that was shot on the 17th, did they use his x-rays for me so they could make it look like I was shot with a shotgun? Okay. And then here we go again. Every time I seen this doctor is he wanted to do a below the knee amputation. I didn't do that. I believe if I would have done that, I would have cut off the evidence. Okay, evidence of a murder attempt because then the pellet size, remember that? That's all part of the foot. The x-rays are falsified. Well, I still got the foot to verify that. We can go back with a legitimate investigation and verify these allegations and make sure they ain't happening to other people. All right, so anyway, that gives you some of the medical stuff there. Suspicious trucker activity. The whole thing I felt like had to do with human trafficking. There's a trucking lane behind my house, very hidden. You can't see it from the streets. This is out my back door right here. I used to see in the afternoon these truckers would line up 3 and 4 deep, and then I'd drive around where the loading bay opened and there wouldn't be nobody at the loading bay. You know, and that'd be every day. You know, have a whole line of trucks right here and nobody unloading freight at the loading bay. Ain't that weird? I've got other videos and pictures of that on here, and you can see that. Here we go. Loading bay's open. There ain't no unloading going on, and this truck's just parked here. Yeah, that's just some of the. You know, I mean, I've seen truckers. I've seen taking pictures too. One truck loaded up with new cars on the back, and they're behind my home. You know, or they're in the middle of the night. You know, it is the absolute perfect place to smuggle. Traffic drugs, traffic weapons, traffic money, you know, I mean, it absolutely is. Evidence folder is really important. You've seen this one right here. This is on the attic side of my HVAC. Somebody dropped a Lego. Okay, that's when I got to worrying that I had kids. The kids were actually crawling in this attic because that's a toy. And I changed that filter ever so often, and so it wasn't there when I changed it a few months before. Somebody had dropped it there. And this is also one of the places I suspected maybe was an entrance from the attic side into my house, was where this HVAC filter is. This is totally bizarre. Is a Lego toy on top of that filter. And you can see it in here. Here's the HVAC filter, plenty of space to drop down into the house right there. Okay, and if you were in the attic. Okay. You can go through here, map pictures. There's a picture we looked at of the clothing fragments where I talked about Rini Escobar Sanchez. This foundation that looks like it has been dug under and then re-poured, and there's a whole row of bricks missing right here. It's what it looks like to me. That's directly behind my house and right in line where I shot from. Okay, I mentioned this. We didn't get a picture of it, how the brick siding just keeps going down in the ground when it's supposed to be above ground level. I talked about that on the last video. Looked over one day, 10 foot off my property, man-sized tunnel pipe. Wow, well, maybe they took a backhoe, dug that in there, and then come in there, modified a wall so you'd have enough room to crawl up into my attic, and then you got free room and board for life. I remember telling one neighbor, I said, they're crawling in my attic. And he said, that's what professional burglars do. What professional burglars do. And, another story is, I remember him telling me, is he said, the last 4 people living in that house didn't live there long. I thought, that ain't funny. The last one's dead. I crawled out from a sure death. It's not funny at all. Anyway, I'm quickly going over this. I already told you how to get out here. Cap that was found under the cabinet where I shot from. Interesting story there. Looks like previous bullet holes might have been in the ceiling before I moved here. Satellite pictures from a new to older, going, hey, compare this picture to that picture. Do you see anything different on the ground? And just how perfect of a place it is to smuggle, because you see where this isn't a through street behind my home. Here's my home right here where I shot, and these truckers have to go behind this big building and come here, and you can't see it from the street. Okay, so it's private back there. Perfect place. And there was a statement about cops there. I'm not anti-police at all. I'm actually a police supporter. I am anti-corrupt police, and I'm anti-secret police, and I'm anti-police sneaking in your house, stealing evidence, and I'm anti-police covering up murder attempts. But I'm not anti-police, and I am looking for good police officers with integrity, but you might have to arrest some of your own. Burglar attempt, or burglar alarms. I had multiple different systems in my attic. I have a vent alarm system. I have a Sangsom alarm system. I have multiple security lights that go off. I've dealt with every kind of excuse there is. What do you think it could be? A mouse? I'm going, well, I had one camera. I could show you a log here. They were physically disconnecting it. That wasn't motion alarms. These were disconnection alarms almost every single day, about the same time. And what I've said before, I had seen a person 3 different times, one in my bedroom as I talked about, one on a camera in my attic, but I didn't have the record going. And these are only a few. I mean, these are really only a few. When I sit down and sometimes just sit down and create a log, and you'll see it was the middle light here, and it was the east security light here. Oh, and all these right here, I was gone to the show when they went off, and so anyway, that's the burglar alarm photo album. You can see the burglar alarm photo album, okay? Because we're in albums. True Miracle. The True Miracle photo album here, okay? The reason it's called True Miracle is because I wrote an email and sent it to the governor, Rick Perry at the time, okay? And I sent it to the sheriff. And I created a whole list. Almost all the supervisors of the Midland Police Department, the Midland City Council, the Midland City Administrators, it's ended up going to the Attorney General has seen it, which is now the governor. Texas Senator Wendy Davis has seen these pictures. There's a lot of people. I actually have a post that says everybody knows but the public. Okay, so we got all these people that know there's a group of people dressed like police in my house, searching drawers, carrying bags, and there's evidence stolen. Okay. And I also have the police report shows that there's no police in this house. So anyway, you can come in here and you can look and go, yeah, well, look there, there's a guy, he's moving stuff around, and oh, look there, she's filling up a bag, ain't she? Yeah, she got a bag of my personal property, and so here we go, they're carrying a bag. No wonder, yeah, because I was at the hospital going, there's proof at my house, there's proof at my house. And guess what? That proof got stolen, but what's in its place is these pictures. Okay. We're searching the drawers here. This is my chest of drawers right here. We gotta go see if the killer's in the drawer. I've blown up the pictures, okay, and so we can get a good idea what they look like, okay. This one right here is wearing a Midland K9 police jacket. He's one dressed like a police because police report says no police were at my home, okay, but we know they were. And so anyway, you see that. And I'll get to this in a minute, but this guy and this guy I think is the same. And I think it is the Midland K9 police sergeant that was alleged to have murdered his wife in December. And I wonder if that murder was connected to the attempted murder on my life. Okay. And you can find that all on my Facebook. Okay. And I've done a lot of them, creating little pictures or whatever, of course, and trying to display this in any way I can. There's the Midland K9 police. I got the original pictures, of course, too. This is always interesting. Here's the guy on 12912, timestamp picture, searching my drawers. And here's where the guy is, 2112, searching the same drawers, right? Legally, okay? Because we're making it legal, okay? I called them secret police for, I didn't have no other word for them. I mean, what do you call them? You're not supposed to have secret police. But these are secret police, okay? Okay. This is the guy in the CBS 7 said that the authorities said that he was the shooter in the murder-suicide on 12/15/14, and this is the guy in my house. So I was doing a face comparison, okay? Is it the same guy? So this guy is unknown, looked like police, right? And this guy is known, was a police. He's the alleged murderer, and this is the one I'm saying was involved in the capital attempted murder on my life. Okay, or at least the cover-up. Okay, digital recorder. That's what I was saying was at my home. There's a digital recorder at my home. It is proof. I had burglar alarms going off. This is timestamp picture showing when my outside cameras was disabled when the police first arrived. Okay, which I think I have a picture right here. 19 minutes later, these two unidentified police to this day arrived at my house. I crawl out to survive a murder attempt, literally, with my phone lines. This is a good read. Absolute lawlessness. Okay, I'm going to go back here. That's a true miracle. I named it that because it was a true miracle that I live. I give God all the praise and glory for me being alive today. Bomb squad was on 2/1/12. That was 3 days later. I talked about that earlier. This is where these are the two people that come to the hospital, had me sign papers. They're the ones that took the hand-drawn maps, and they went to my house to start the investigation. Okay, to start it. Okay. Right, they didn't mention that they'd already been on my house. Okay, and then I have a family photo, of course. Midland City Mayor, Council and Mayor. I contacted, not only did I have the True Miracle email, which I have, and I have screenshots of it on Facebook, but I also found, various city council or mayor, Councilman Sparks. Can you confirm if any of these people are worth the Midland police officers? Okay, and there's the picture we've seen earlier, right? And if you look at the date, it was November 29, 2014, okay, and by December 15th, I wonder if this guy didn't murder his wife, okay? I mean, that's what I wondered. And so that was 6 weeks later. So I'm thinking if they would have arrested these people when we got these very clear pictures, would that woman still be alive? I mean, but Councilman Sparks, he didn't never reply to me. And so there's Councilman Lacey, Councilman Love. Here's the Mayor Morales, same picture again, okay? But they just ignored me, And I had one Hotchkiss. Councilman Hotchkiss did reply to me and said, "Can you resend it?" And I did, and then that was the last I got from her. So it's, I'm saying they can deny RobNet, okay? They can deny that they were contacted. Hobbs Acts, which talks about using extortion to try to get real estate. Like say if there's something special about my house and I'm not being protected by the police department on purpose so somebody can force me to sell, right? That would be a violation of the Hobbs Act as far as I'm concerned. Profile pictures, these where we just get into a lot of unfiled stuff, okay? Some duplicates, a lot of pictures of me. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to go over on Facebook. Let's go back here. I want to remind you again, buddy.web 353. Okay. We also here on the YouTube channel, which that's what we're talking about. So it's there. Now let's look at some pictures here. This one we talked about. This was the Midland Canine Police Sergeant, still unidentified to this day. Unidentified because there's no police report. Okay. That's the text. Okay, let's get the picture. We looked at this one. Okay, what we know for a fact, we know I wasn't shot with my gun. So that only means I was shot with somebody else's gun. And that goes with my testimony that burglar alarms were going off. Okay. Of course, I don't have proof of that because it's now stolen. But it's documented that I told the detective at the hospital there's proof in my house. You can see from the entrance room and the exit wound that the gun was level that shot me, okay, 2 3/4 inches above the ground level, okay. So we know I shot from 2 3/4 inches ground. I wasn't shot with my own gun. I'm going to tell you somebody shot me that was standing below this home, okay. But let everybody else figure out how they shot me from 2 inches above ground level another way. But anyway, that's the evidence, and it is the main evidence. Also, the surgical report says removed a large amount of plastic. Well, this shell right here doesn't have a large amount of plastic in it, okay? And then we have the x-rays I talked about, okay? This is the picture I showed you a while ago. These are the time stamps that I showed you that come right off the... I should have gone through them. Right off the pictures themselves, because they're security pictures. Here it is, a timestamp of when the still unidentified police show up. This right here is, and I blocked it out right here, but this is the actual police report for 129, and it just showing you there's nothing there because it was a covert and illegal entry. I mean, that's all there was to it. Here we go. They're searching my drawers, and they're searching my drawers again, And they didn't even get their 2-week paid vacation for it, These are the two detectives come to my hospital 3 days later, and as if they hadn't been in my house, right? This is where they call me paranoid schizophrenic, okay, right? Here's amazing. You go online, you find it yourself. First day I moved into the house, there's the back door. It's perfectly fine. Back door intact, 10-1, okay? Back door kicked open on 10/31. Actually, by 10/28, when I was here with the home inspector, I've got a document that says it was kicked open. So there's proof it was kicked open in between 10/1 and 10/28, and during that time, Mike Lawhong dies, okay? And the whole show starts next week. Okay, one death notice I find is he dies